Tomorrow we're wishing all the leaplings out there happy birthday. What's a leapling? Well, they're people who were born on February 29th, and they only celebrate their actual birthday every 4 years, or do they? There's some exceptions to that rule, which we'll get to in a moment. But why do we have this extra day at all, you may wonder? To answer all of our leap year questions, Rachel Ward-Maxwell with the Ontario Science Centre is here. Good to have you here this morning.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Why do we have leap years in the first place?
So we have leap years in the first place because it actually is related to the Earth's orbit around the sun. So it takes the Earth about 365.25 days to go around the sun. So what's a quarter of a day? We actually make up for that by adding 1 day every 4 years, approximately.
So what would happen if we did not have the leap year?
So if we didn't have the leap year, it would affect our seasons, and it would make our seasons and
It would just shift everything,
It would
right?
shift everything. It would all be out of sync with our calendar. So we use a solar calendar, which measures the Earth's orbit around the sun, but it's not quite precise.
So in other words, our winter could become our summer could become the spring. Like
Yeah,
it would
exactly.
all sort of
It would
rotate.
affect planting and everything.
So why was February the month to pick to add that extra day?
So the calendar year was originally meant to start in March with the vernal equinox. So that's the first day of spring. And so February was the last day of the year. So that's why the extra date would be added in February to make sure that the first day of spring was always aligned with the right time.
Okay, let's get to the mind-blowing moment when I learned, because, you know, growing up, I always was taught there's a leap year every 4 years.
Yes.
There is an exception to that rule.
There is.
Talk to us about that.
Yes, so leap years were actually introduced over 2,000 years ago by Julius Caesar. And in the Julian calendar, it was every 4 years. But when it ended up happening in the 16th century, when we switched to the Gregorian calendar, that everything was out of sync. So they actually had to introduce 2 more rules so that the year, if it's divisible by 100, it's not a leap year. But if it's divisible by 400, it is a leap year.
Okay, so for example,
Yes.
let's break this down. Because in our lifetime, we only know it to be every 4 years
Yes.
because 2000 was divisible by 400.
Yeah.
But a child born tomorrow who lives to be 100 years old, in the year 2100, there will not be a leap year.
Yes,
you're
that's
saying,
right. Yeah.
Because it's not divisible by 400.
Yeah.
I mean, can we just take a moment, right? Like that is news to a lot of people, including myself.
And that's because we are actually overcompensating by adding the day every 4 years, because it's just a little less than a quarter of a day that's added to the orbit of the Earth around the sun.
So what do you do to celebrate February 29th? Do you mark it in any way personally?
No, not really.
You just actually carry on your day like it's another day of the year?
Well, it gives me a little bit more time to get everything done that needs to get done.
You know what? And I think that's the key here. Like, what do you want to do on your extra day? All the stuff that you didn't get done with the other 365 days for the last 3 years. Rachel, good to have you in studio.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. If you like this, be sure to subscribe here.
And you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.